I'm past that point now, but just to get it off my chest. This all happened over the last couple of years, right here in the States, in a mid-sized city where everyone pretends their lives are perfect on social media, but behind closed doors, it's a mess. I'm writing this from my perspective, as the wife who thought she had it all figured out. Buckle up, because it's long and twisty, and honestly, I still can't believe how it played out. We'd been married for about 8 years when things started feeling off. Not in that dramatic way you see in movies, where there's lipstick on a collar or mysterious late-night calls. No, it was subtler. He was in sales for a tech company, traveling a lot for conferences and client meetings. Think those endless hotel stays in places like Chicago or Atlanta, where he'd come back with stories about boring dinners and PowerPoint presentations. I worked in marketing for a local firm, mostly remote, so I had plenty of time at home to overthink everything. Our routine was solid: mornings with coffee on the porch, weekends hiking in nearby parks, evenings binge, watching shows while sharing takeout. We weren't rich, but comfortable. Mortgage paid, no kids yet, because we both wanted to focus on careers first. The first red flag? His phone. He started keeping it face down on the table during dinner, which he never did before. I'd glance over, and he'd flip it over casually, like it was no big deal. Then there were the weekends when he'd say he had to catch up on work and disappear into the home office for hours, emerging only for meals. I chalked it up to stress. His job was high pressure, quotas to meet, bosses breathing down his neck. But one night, after he'd fallen asleep early, I couldn't resist. I picked up his phone. We knew each other's passcodes, trust, right? And scrolled through his messages. Nothing obvious at first. Work chats, memes from buddies, the usual. But then I saw a thread with a contact labeled Project Lead Denver. The messages were professional on the surface. Great meeting today, let's follow up soon. But interspersed were emojis, a winky face here, a heart there. And one that said, "Can't wait for next time. Last night was fun." My stomach dropped. I sat there in the dark, heart pounding, reading and rereading. Who was this? Denver was one of his frequent stops. I didn't wake him. Instead, I put the phone back and lay awake all night, mind racing. Was this an affair? Emotional? Physical? The next morning, I acted normal, made breakfast, kissed him goodbye as he headed to the airport for another trip. But inside, I was unraveling. I started paying more attention, his suitcase packed with an extra shirt I didn't recognize, cologne he hadn't worn in years. Little things that added up. Over the next few weeks, I turned into a detective without even meaning to. I'd check his credit card statements online. Hotel charges for rooms with 2 keys. Dinners for 2 at steakhouses. One receipt even had a wine upgrade that screamed date night. I confronted him once, casually. "Hey, saw that charge from the steak place. Must have been a good client dinner?" He laughed it off, said it was a group thing. Expense account covered it. I nodded, but doubt festered. Why lie if it was innocent? Then came the big one. He left his laptop open one evening while showering. I peeked at his email, stupid I know, but curiosity won. There was a chain from the same project lead with attachments. I opened one, photos from a conference, but not the professional kind. Him and a woman, arms around each other at a bar, laughing. She looked polished, business suit, sharp haircut, the type who'd fit right in at those networking events. No explicit stuff, but the intimacy was there. Another email. "Missed you already. Let's plan something outside of work next time." I felt sick. 8 years? And this? But here's where it gets weird. I didn't cry or scream. Instead, I felt this cold resolve. I copied the emails to my drive, closed the laptop, and went to bed like nothing happened. Why? Because I realized I'd been ignoring my own dissatisfaction. Our sex life had dwindled to once a month, mechanical and rote. Conversations were surface, level, bills, groceries, weekend plans. Maybe this was a wake-up call, or maybe I was in denial. The next twist hit a month later. He was away again, and I decided to snoop deeper. I logged into his cloud storage, same password as everything else. There were folders labeled by trip dates. Inside one, more photos, but not just with her, There were messages saved as notes from dating apps. Wait, what? He had profiles on apps like Tinder and Bumble, set to business traveler mode. Matches with women in different cities. Chats that started flirty and turned explicit. Wish I could see you in person, one said, his reply. Next time I'm in town. It wasn't just one affair, it was a pattern. Serial cheating, city by city. I sat on the floor, laptop in lap, scrolling through evidence that shattered everything. But amid the anger, there was this spark of liberation. Like, if he could do this, why couldn't I? I'd never cheated, never even thought about it seriously. But now, staring at those messages, I downloaded one of those apps myself. Just to browse, I told myself. See what's out there. That night, I matched with a guy, let's call him the barista type, worked at a coffee shop downtown, into photography and hiking like me. We chatted innocently at first, favorite trails, best brews. It felt harmless, exciting even. By the end of the week, we'd met for coffee. No big deal, right? Just talking. But as I drove home, guilt mixed with thrill. Was this revenge? Or was I just as bad? Little did I know, this was only the beginning. The real bombshell was coming, and it wasn't what I expected at all. All right, picking up where I left off. So there I was, dipping my toe into this online dating world while my husband was out there living a double life. It started small coffee with the barista guy turned into a walk in a local park, then lunch. He was easy to talk to, no pressure, and for the first time in ages, I felt seen. Not as the wife who handles the laundry and bills, but as a person with opinions and laughs. We didn't kiss or anything, it was platonic, but the flirtation was there, buzzing under the surface. Meanwhile, back home, I kept up the facade. Husband returned from his trip all smiles and souvenirs, a mug from the city, claiming it was from a vendor booth. I smiled back, but inside I was piecing together more clues. I'd started tracking his flights via apps, noting when he extended stays without telling me. One time, he said he was in Seattle for 3 days. App showed 5. I even called the hotel once, pretending to be his assistant, and asked if he checked out. No, ma'am, he's here until Friday. Boom, lie confirmed. But I didn't confront. Why? Part of me wanted more evidence to build an airtight case. Another part enjoyed the secret power of knowing while he didn't. And, honestly, my own little adventure was distracting me. Barista guy, let's say he was into art, invited me to a gallery opening. I went, telling husband I had a work event. The night was fun, wine, discussions about abstract paintings, his hand brushing mine accidentally. On the drive home, I felt alive, but also terrified. Was I becoming him? Then the plot thickened. One evening, while he was in the shower again, Guy loved long showers, his phone buzzed with a notification. I glanced, email alert from a bank app. Curiosity piqued. I opened it. Separate account. He'd opened a checking account I didn't know about, with deposits from consulting gigs. But the transactions, cash withdrawals in cities he visited, Venmo payments to unfamiliar names, one recurring $200,000 to someone with a feminine username labeled gift. What the hell? I dug deeper that night after he slept, hacked into the account, same weak password. Statements showed hotel bookings not on our joint card, spa days, even a jewelry purchase. A necklace, maybe? For who? Rage bubbled, but I channeled it into action. I started a journal, documenting everything. Dates, amounts, inconsistencies. It felt therapeutic, like reclaiming control. Around this time, my thing with barista escalated. We met for dinner, and afterward, in his car, we kissed. It was impulsive, electric. Guilt hit hard the next day. Am I a hypocrite? But then I'd think of husband's secrets and push it down. We saw each other a few more times, always careful. Midday meets, no overnights. He knew I was married but unhappy, and that was enough for him, no strings. The unexpected turn came during one of husband's trips. I decided to surprise him, fly out unannounced, catch him in the act. Booked a ticket to Phoenix, where he was supposedly at a convention. Arrived at the hotel, heart in throat. Front desk confirmed his room. I knocked, no answer. Waited in the lobby, sipping bad coffee. Hours passed. Finally, he appeared. Not alone, but not with a woman. With a man. They were laughing, arms linked casually, heading to the elevator. Stunned, I sat in the lobby bar ordering a drink to process. All those messages I'd seen were with women, right? Or had I missed something? Back home, I rechecked the emails. Wait, the project lead had a gender-neutral name. Photos, upon closer look, some were ambiguous. And the dating apps? His profiles were set to everyone? Bi? Gay? In the closet? This changed everything. Was our whole marriage a lie? I flew back without confronting, mind spinning. Suddenly my fling felt trivial. If he was hiding his sexuality, that explained the distance, the emotional walls. But why marry me? Cover? Genuine love at first, then drift. I confided in Barista over text. He was sympathetic, but it pushed us closer. We spent a weekend together while husband was away again. First time crossing that physical line. It was passionate, but afterward, regret washed over me. Not just guilt, but realization. I was using him to cope. Back to husband, I started noticing more. His browser history, incognito mode off sometimes, showed searches for LGBTQ support groups, forums about coming out later in life. One tab, how to tell your spouse you're bi. Holy shit. He was struggling too. But then another layer. While snooping his phone again, I found a second app, encrypted, cracked it, birth date password doe. Inside, chats with both men and women. Poly? Swinging? No, it looked like arrangements. Paid? Wait. Some messages referenced sessions and rates. Escort services? No way. Digging further, receipts matched. He wasn't just cheating, he was paying for it. With men and women. Was this addiction? Exploration? Our savings dipped slightly, now it made sense. This revelation hit like a truck. I confronted Barista about my mess. He suggested therapy, but I wasn't ready. Instead, I planned my exit, lawyer consults, separate finances. But plot twist, during one meetup with Barista, his phone rang. He answered, face paling. What? Oh. Hung up, turned to me. What? How? Twish, do I? Someone's been following us. Paranoia set in. Was husband on to me? Or something else? Continuing this saga, if you're still reading, props to you. By now, I was neck deep in secrets, husband's hidden life of paid encounters with both genders, my own affair with Barista, and now this creepy feeling of being watched. After that call, Barista and I cooled things off. He was spooked, said his roommate saw a car parked outside their place multiple times, same plates. I laughed it off at first, coincidence? But then I noticed it too. Walking the dog one evening, a sedan idled down the block, windows tinted, pulled away when I stared. Husband was home more now, work trip slowing. He seemed tense, jumping at notifications. I played dumb, but inside, I was plotting. Contacted a divorce attorney quietly. Video calls from the car during errands. She advised gathering more financial proof, especially if he was hiding assets. So I did. Screenshots of that secret account, now showing larger withdrawals, one for $5K therapy, blackmail. That's when I stumbled on the next bombshell. While he was at the gym, I went through his desk drawers, found a burner phone, cheap flip model, hidden in a sock. Powered it on, texts from unknown numbers, payment received, session confirmed. Can't wait to see you again. But one thread stood out. We need to talk. This can't go on. Reply. I know, but it's complicated. Give me time. Who was this? I memorized the number, later reverse, searched it online. Came back to a private investigator firm in our city. Wait. Was he hiring someone to spy on me? Or was he being spied on? Mind blown, I put it back and acted normal. But paranoia ramped up. I started varying routines, different routes to work, parking in garages. Told Barista we needed a break. He understood, though hurt. Focused on self-care, joined a yoga class, started journaling more. But emotions boiled. Anger at his betrayal, confusion over his possible identity crisis, self-loathing for my hypocrisy. then the twist that flipped the script. One night, husband sat me down after dinner. "We need to talk," he said, voice shaky. My heart raced, busted, but no, he confessed partially. "I've been seeing a therapist. About us, about me." Admitted to feeling lost, questioning his sexuality. Said he'd had encounters during trips, experimental, blamed work stress, midlife doubts, cried, begged forgiveness, promised to stop, go to couples counseling. I was stunned. Heart truth, but omissions galore. No mention of paying the scale, the PI. I played along, teary-eyed, said I needed time. Inside, relief mixed with suspicion. Why now? That burner phone suggested more. Post-confession, things improved superficially, more affection, date nights at local spots. But I kept digging. Called the PI number from a payphone, old school, I know. Posed as a client, fished for info. They were cagey, but slipped. We handle discretion for personal matters. Hung up. Weeks later, another discovery. In his car glove box, while borrowing it for groceries, a folder with reports. On me, photos of me with barista, coffee shop, park walk, even the gallery. Timestamps from months back. He'd been spying on me before I even started the affair? What the actual fuck? Did he suspect me first? Or was this preemptive? Report noted. Subject meeting unidentified male, affectionate behavior. Recommendations, continue surveillance. Rage exploded. I confronted him that night, folder in hand. "What is this?" He froze, then deflated. Admitted he'd hired the PI a year ago, sensing my distance. Thought I was cheating first. Irony? His own affairs started around then too, tit for tat. Argument ensued, yelling, tears. He claimed his experiments were coping, not love. I threw my affair in his face. Well, guess what? You were right eventually. Shock on his face. Didn't know it had gone that far. We slept apart. Next days, tense silence. But here's the unexpected pivot. Instead of divorce, we talked. Really talked. He opened up about repressed feelings from youth, pressure to be normal. I shared my loneliness, how his absences pushed me away. Decided on therapy, separate first, then joint. But wait, more layers. During my solo session, therapist suggested checking for deeper issues. I mentioned the financial stuff. She urged auditing. Hired a forensic accountant quietly. Results? That secret account wasn't just for encounters. Transfers to an offshore spot. Embezzlement from work? No, turns out he was investing in a side hustle, app development with a partner. The sessions? Code for meetings with coders, some flirtatious, but mostly business. Mind twist, the paid stuff was real, but mixed with legit work. The PI? Partly to protect assets if divorce loomed. As therapy progressed, we unearthed more. My affair? Born from neglect, but I owned it. His addiction, like, tied to identity crisis. We paused separation, tried rebuilding. Intimacy returned, tentative. But lurking doubt remained. Here we are in part 4. Things were getting better, or so it seemed. Therapy was helping, we communicated more, set boundaries. No more trips without check, ins, shared passwords, ironically. Sex improved, exploratory, honest about desires. He came out as bi to me fully, and we discussed what that meant. Open relationship? Not yet, but on the table. But life throws curves. A few months in, I got a promotion, more travel for me now. First trip, conference in New York. Exciting, but nerve-wracking. Husband encouraged it, said he'd hold down the fort. At the event, I met colleagues, networked. One guy, let's say the consultant type, stood out. Sharp, funny, similar interests. We grabbed drinks with the group, but lingered, talking shop. Nothing happened, but texts followed, work-related at first, then personal. Loved our chat, let's connect on LinkedIn, I told husband transparently. He was cool, but I sensed unease. Back home, routine resumed. But then oddities, my work email hacked, spam from it, but IT said no breach. Then a package arrived, anonymous, with photos. Of husband recent at a coffee shop with someone. A man, close conversation. Confronted him. What's this? He sighed, admitted it was a friend from a support group. Platonic, but secretive because early stages. Trust wobbled again. My turn for twist, during another trip. Consultant Guy and I met for dinner. Flirtation escalated. Kiss in the elevator. Guilt immediate, but thrill too. Told husband upon return? No. Hypocrite 2 Bino. Meanwhile, the accountant dug deeper. Found discrepancies. Husband's side hustle wasn't just apps. Investments in crypto, risky stuff. Losses mounting, hence the secret account. He was in debt, hiding it. Big fight. Why lie again? He broke down, addicted to the rush, affairs and gambles intertwined. Therapy revealed compulsive behavior. We separated temporarily. He moved to a short-term rental. Space to breathe. I reconnected with Barista briefly for closure. He was seeing someone. We parted friends. Then the mega twist, while alone, I got a call from the PI firm. Ma'am, your husband canceled services months ago, but we have unpaid invoices. Wait, he rehired them? No, the call was a ruse. Caller ID spoofed. Who? Who? Paranoia peaked. Installed home cameras. Footage showed someone tampering with mail. A woman, familiar from those old photos, the project lead, tracked her down via LinkedIn. She spilled, not just an affair partner. Business associate in the app venture, but romantic too. And the twist. She was pregnant. With his kid? No. Hers from before, but he'd promised support, then ghosted. Drama. She'd been stalking us, sending packages to force confrontation. Wanted money for emotional damages. Husband denied paternity involvement, but admitted entanglement deeper than confessed. It was over before I told you. Trust shattered anew. Filed for divorce, but in proceedings, another turn. Forensic audit revealed her as co-investor. Embezzling together? No, she was blackmailing him over the affairs, draining the account. Court got messy, restraining orders, asset freezes. I walked away with half, plus therapy bills covered. Post-divorce, I dated casually. Consultant Guy became a thing, healthy, open. But final reflection, was it all cheating, or systemic rot? We both strayed, but roots were deeper, unaddressed needs, poor communication. Wrapping this up in the final part. Divorce finalized 6 months ago. Clean break, no alimony drama since no kids. I kept the house, he took the car and some savings. Moved to a smaller apartment downtown, fresh start. Work thriving with the promotion. Travel lets me explore, meet people without baggage. But echoes lingered. Therapy continued. Unpacked my role, enabling by not confronting early, using affairs as escape. Learned about codependency, how our marriage fed off secrets. Unexpected post-divorce twist. Ran into the project lead at an industry event. Awkward, but we talked. She apologized for the stalking desperation from her own mess. The pregnancy? Miscarried, adding to her spiral. We bonded over shared betrayal, became unlikely allies. She provided evidence for my lawyer, exposing more of his financial shenanigans. Turns out the crypto losses were from a scam she warned him about, but he ignored. Husband? Last I heard, in rehab for gambling addiction. Support group helped with identity, but the compulsions ran deep. We exchanged civil emails. Closure, not reconciliation. My dating life evolved. Consultant Guy and I went steady. Trips together, honest talks. No rushing marriage, learned that lesson. But the biggest turn? Discovered I was bi-curious myself. Therapy prompted exploration. Dated a woman briefly. Eye-opening, empowering. Realized husband's struggles mirrored untapped parts of me. Now, life feels authentic. Friends rallied, no judgment. Reddit stories like this helped normalize. Thanks for reading mine. In the end, cheating wasn't the villain, unchecked secrets were. If you're in similar, talk early. Or walk away. Worth it.